Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unspoken podcast. My name is Anna Morgan Pelodi, and I'm going to be your host again this week from the Chris Klug Foundation. A big thank you to everybody that has subscribed or followed this podcast. If you haven't already, please do so. It helps us keep it going and keep talking about all the things not discussed surrounding transplant and donation. I'm really excited. Today is the day we get to announce our 2026 CKF Award winners. So stay tuned for that later in this podcast. I'm going to be chatting with our 2025 CKF Award winners. First, before we dive into all of that, let's catch up with what CKF has coming up. This is the last day of Donate Life Month, so if I haven't said it to you already, happy Donate Life Month. And today we recognize and honor all those individuals that made the decision to become organ donors and leave a lasting legacy, and the families that helped them do that. So if you are a donor family or a living donor, thank you so much for making the decision to save lives. I have family members that had their lives saved by organ donation and your decisions. So I just want to say a big thank you. We are looking at so many things coming up. It does not stop here at CKF. So first up, if you are local to the Aspen area, on May 12th, we will be hosting a blood drive at the Aspen Middle School. You can sign up through vitalent.org or through our website. Following that, in New Orleans, our superstar ambassador, Jeremy Nicolci, is hosting the third annual Blue Ducky 5K Waddle in honor of his sister Stephanie, who was a donor when she passed. It has a virtual component too, so you don't have to be based down in New Orleans. You can be anywhere to participate, and the funds raised will go to support our programming and continue spreading the awareness for organ and tissue donation. At the end of the month, we will be heading down to Kansas, to Emporia for Unbound Gravel. This is the world premiere gravel race, and we have 10 riders taking up the challenge this year. Planners for organ and tissue donation as well as funds. They will be biking 100 or 200 miles across the Flint Hills. So if you're in the area and love to come on down and cheer for some great riders, we would love to see you there. If you haven't checked out their stories, please do so. There's some incredible stories. And then lastly, like many of you, we are counting down to the Transplant Games of America, which are going to be here in Denver from June 18th through the 23rd. So if you haven't signed up already, you are running out of time. So make sure you sign up for the Transplant Games in your local team. We will be there all weekend, sharing the message and celebrating the gift of life. And I did forget, right before that, another one of us volunteers, Ian Pawley, will be hosting New Liver New York, which will be a tip-to-tip walk across Manhattan in honor of his liverversary. I am struggling to speak today. I am so sorry. So you can sign up for that or learn more through our website. That will be on June 18th in New York. I'm really excited to be joined today by our 2025 CKF Award winners, Ahmed Anoudi and Patty Graham. Patty was our Hero Award and Ahmed was our Bounce Back Give Back Award. Randy is going to be joining me tomorrow to kind of catch up what we chat about today. So thank you guys for joining. So I'm going to start with you, Patty. Can you walk us through, you're a kidney donor. What inspired you to make the decision to become a kidney donor, and how did that process look for you?
Thanks for asking, and happy to be here. So how it started for me is my sister donated, and she donated 24 years ago now to our, at the time, stepdad. So she directly donated to him and saved his life. It was amazing. And then he still has her kidney to this day, he's now had it longer than she had it, which is kind of cool. So she did it first, and I didn't really think much about it. And then I was at an event with some friends, including my sister, where the people were giving these 5-minute talks about things they're passionate about. And this woman gave a talk about how a stranger donated a kidney to her brother and saved her brother's life. And as soon as I heard it, I looked at my sister and said, "I'm going to do that." And she said, "I know." And I did. So that's what inspired me. It's just that I found out you could give your kidney to a stranger. I didn't even know it was a thing. And when I found out, I just knew then I would do it.
That's amazing. I love that it was to a stranger too. I think that's always makes it even more special. Yeah, that's
Thanks.
incredible. Yeah. Ahmed, do you want to give us a little rundown? You're a liver recipient, about your journey, which looks a little different to a lot of people's because you had to move a whole country.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for having me here, and I'm happy to talk about this a bit. So, I'm a liver transplant recipient due to a rare birth issue, which is called biliary, which affects, like, in the US, 1 in 18,000 live births, 1 in 15,000. And I had a rough journey. There had to be done an initial surgery that no one knew how to do back home in Lebanon. Eventually, someone came from the US and did it. I lived a good 15, 16 years of life. And eventually, I started developing issues with my breathing due to the cirrhosis in my liver. And I had to get a transplant, which does not exist also in Lebanon. So I had to travel abroad with just my dad and I and get listed in a foreign country where we do not speak the language. And I eventually did get a transplant on August 6, 2013. Unfortunately, I thought I was out of the woods. Post transplant, it was much rougher than pre transplant. Post transplant, I caught a series of infections. I developed acute rejection all within the span of 2 months. And eventually, so I had my transplant in August. By November, I developed what's known as PTLD, which is a B cell non Hodgkin's lymphoma. Stayed under treatment for around a year. And now I'm here. I'm fine. And so I was given the gift of life, and I've been trying my best to use it as much as possible.
I think so many people think that transplant, you're like up and out of bed the next day and you're ready to go, and forget that quite often the process is a little longer and it's, a little more in depth than that. It's amazing. Patty, I want to touch back to you. Did you know that you could donate to someone non-directed before you heard this lady talk, or did that kind of become new news to you?
It was new news. Yeah, I had no idea. And I'm a nurse and I still had no idea. I'd never heard of it. And so just happened to be at right place, right time and heard about it. So then since then, I'm just always trying to spread the word about it because I think for some of us, you just hear that you can do it and you just know you will. It's just like a switch, I think. So
It's amazing. And so you just brought me right to my next question. Since you've donated, you've not just donated and sort of been like, that's it, I'm done. You've stayed in the community and you've tried to spread that word. Can you kind of talk to that for a little bit and what you've been up to?
yeah, so since I donated, realized that when the word needed to get out so people would know, like me, who didn't know about it. And so I started working with a nonprofit and I ended up working for them for a few years as a kidney donor mentor. So I mentored donors through the process. And I think I had over 10,000 referrals when all was said and done when I left that role. And the other thing I did is I started something called One Kidney Clubs, which is a way for kidney donors to connect to other donors, build community, have support from other people who have donated, or just even pre-donation, talk to other people who have done it and really find out what it's like. In One Kidney Clubs now, we have over 50 all over the world.
It's amazing. And it's not an easy process to become a donor. In some ways, it's a very in-depth, complicated sort of step by step because they want to make sure that it's a match. They want to make sure you're okay with donating. Your health is in a good place to donate. So I think getting connected with other people would be critical pre-donation.
Yeah, yeah. It's the best physical of your life getting screened to be a donor. They really want to make sure that you're healthy physically and mentally. So they are really screening you hard because they don't want to put you at risk by being a donor. And so there aren't a lot of us that have done it. There aren't enough of us. And so it is really nice to support people prior to donation and give them tell them what it's like and sort of like hold their hand and step them through. So yeah, it's a privilege to do that actually.
It's amazing. And if someone wants to join the One Kidney Club, where are they heading to?
Yeah, onekidneyclubs.com, and we have all the clubs listed there. And if someone's already donated and there's not a club in their area and they want to start one, just reach out. And the information to reach out is on the website, and happy to help people get other clubs going and just build community and spread the word.
I feel like donors are such special people to be able to decide you want to become a living donor is a really incredible decision to make. And
Yeah, yeah, and I've made the best friends of my life through donation. I mean, my best friends are all donors, and it's not because I got my friends to donate. It's because I made more friends after donation with people who had already done it. So it's
it's a
it's a
great
great.
conversation starter.
It is, yeah, and it's just it's a really unusual way to connect with someone who's done it.
Mhm.
Like it's just since there aren't that many of us.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't know what it's like until you've done it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Ahmed, I'm gonna come back over to you. And can you kinda explain, you took your experience to a whole new level and went into the field of transplant. What inspired you to do that? What do you do now? Give us the down low.
Okay, of course. So, I think with my experience, it was like there's a lot of room to grow in the transplant field. The transplant field is a multidisciplinary, complex field, whether it's liver, kidney, heart, lung. You're talking about a field that requires surgical care, medical care, nutritional care. There's life medication. I think one mentor I had told me a very beautiful saying is like, you go from a life threatening disease to a chronic disease. So, yes, hopefully you're not going to die anymore, but you are like any diabetic patient or any patient living with an illness all your life. And so, given my experience and given that I was a bit of a studious kid in high school, I decided to take the path of medicine. And so I did 4 years of undergrad with a minor in biomedical engineering, and I joined medical school, graduated, did 2 years and 3 months of research here in Texas, in the University of Texas Southwestern. And now I'm finishing my pediatric residency. I start fellowship in September in gastroenterology and hepatology. I've officially matched. And so I'm on the physician scientist track. I'm not just on the regular pediatric track. And the goal of my life has been to become funded physician scientist who deals with transplant recipients in the pediatric population, specifically liver, and to try to understand the field more. There's a lot of gaps. A lot of kids die on the wait list. A lot of kids have very poor transplant outcomes. And I'm not just talking about death, but also like post transplant, they have a lot of complications that cause the quality of life to go down. And given that I was in that position, I just want to make sure no kid dies on the wait list and no kid has a rough transplant. I'm going to put all my effort clinically and in the research space to change that. And so this is the decision I took. My wife supports it. I'm just not at home most of the time. Or if I'm at home, I'm on the laptop. So work-life balance has become work-work balance. But I think I've been given the gift of life. And as long as this liver is running, I'm using it to the maximum.
That's so inspiring. There is too many kids on the transplant. There's too many people, period, on the transplant wait list. But I think it's always tough when you see a kid who's waiting for somebody just to say yes, or, is waiting for that life saving gift. And it's not just on them, it's on the whole family. Um, Definitely. And work life balance, I can get behind that. I think anyone that works in the field is like, when was my last day off again? What I do for fun? I spent my weekend in Wyoming at a donut dash, and I'm like, that's not what other people do? That's so weird.
I talk to my residency friends and fellowship friends. I'm like, oh yeah, I go back home and do research. I'm like, they do. And this is residence, by the way. We're clocking 70-hour work weeks. You do research when you go back home? I'm like, yeah, how am I publishing this much? Like, everyone's like, I'm dead when I go back home. So
Yeah.
this gift of life has gone a long way the last 13 years. Hopefully it stays.
Right? I love it. So let's kind of talk about, you guys are both CKF Award winners, and you both came out to Aspen last year and were guests at our Wine and Dine Gala. What was that experience like for you, getting recognized and getting celebrated at the event? I'm since either one of you. I'll open it up.
I can start if Patty is okay with that. Yeah, so yeah, I think to say that it was somewhat life changing, I wouldn't understate it in a different way. I think a lot of the work we do and a lot of the effort we put in that goes especially towards Patty is very altruistic, and you do things not for your own personal gain. I'm sure she donated not for clout or fame, but she did it just to help someone. And for me, I went into medicine not because I wanted to make something of myself. I did it purely just to help others and make sure no one goes through the same experience I went through. But the journey is long and it's very tedious, and there's a lot of ups and downs on the road, especially as a recipient. And there are days when I'm stuck in the hospital and I've ran my health to the ground sometimes because of the amount of work I do. Like just in 2024, I was admitted 4 times just because of how sick I would get. These, while it is tough to handle this aspect, having these moments where you are celebrated for the work you do is monumental. It's never about the celebration itself, but it's about like, hey, there's eyes on the work, there's effort. People are really realizing that maybe what I'm doing has some benefit to society, and it just gives you a perspective that you see outside. And it also connected me with great people. I will have to say, like, but we've not stayed much in contact since the award, but I have been in constant contact with Dr. Stafford, or Randy, who's the other recipient, and he has become a mentor of mine to the point that I submitted an NIH grant past 2 weeks ago with his name as my mentor.
Mm.
And so it was, yeah, it was life changing as a career. Like I met people, and meeting Chris on his own, who is a phenomenal athlete and changed the way we look at transplant recipients post transplant. And he is a liver transplant recipient, which I'm biased towards. So it was great.
We won't hold it
So
against.
yeah. So I think this has been, to say the least, life changing. Meeting people like Dr. Stafford, meeting people like Reese, meeting people like you, Anna, and Patty, and having the work I do recognized in a way that makes me want to push forward and realize the merit on its own when the times are tough really was something. And the whole trip was phenomenal. Like it was an amazing great break for me and my wife. Very much so.
Yeah. Oh, I should have gone first. You like said all the good stuff. So everything you said, it was amazing to meet everyone and be part of it. Everyone was so kind and generous with their time, and just what an event, like beautiful, beautiful event to be part of. And I also felt really lucky because my sister attended, and so did one of my best friends who's also a donor. And so it was really nice to share the experience with people I love as well. So yeah, it was amazing. It was
Oh, the photo of you guys is like my favorite one to use for everything. I swear I've used it on every one of our website pages of the three of you at Wine and Dine. It's such a cute one. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, and we're putting up our one finger for one kidney. That's what
Yep.
that is when we do that. Like, we're not number one, it's like we have one kidney, so it's our sign. Thanks.
I want to say it is such an honor to have been able to recognize each of you and celebrate everything that you do for the community. And I think these awards have always been something to inspire others to look to and say, you know, they're doing that. I can get out. And whether it's, you know, you don't have to start your own nonprofit or go into the medical field. It could just be you got up today and you walked to your mailbox, or you wrote a story about you know, your journey that inspired somebody else on. I think it continues to have a lasting impact. And it's kind of like leaving a second legacy, right?
Ripples, lots of
Right.
ripples.
And now we get to do the exciting bit of announcing our 2026 CKF Award winners. And this year was incredible. We had over 56 nominations, which is our biggest year yet. And I can honestly say I was left in tears, laughing, went through every emotion reading through everybody's nominations. And if we could award everybody, I would 100% award everyone with something, because they are just phenomenal. But I'm so excited about this year's award winners. So I'm going to let Patty kiss off with our hero winner.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to announce the hero winner for this year and pass the torch on to donor mother and founder of Smiling Marlin Foundation, Kristen Cohen.
Yay! Thanks, Patty. Congrats, Kristen. Ahmed, you're up next.
So this year's Bounce Back and Give Back Award winner is a heart transplant recipient and founder of the Bonus Day magazine, Alison Conklin. And I
Yay!
apologize if I butchered the last name, but congrats.
Yay. Congratulations, you guys. And we'll be in touch about bringing you out to Aspen this year for the 2026 Wine and Dine Gala. If everyone hasn't got it on their calendars yet, join us August 28th at the Snowmass Club here in Aspen. This is going to be our 4th summer Wine and Dine. We're super excited to have you join us and celebrate everything you've given to the community. And I just want to say a huge thank you to our 2025 award winners for joining me today, for all of their hard work and commitment to the cause. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm super happy to be back on the conversation with you, Randy, and have you joining me here as our 2025 community champion. And it's a great time to celebrate, you know, everything you've done in the transplant community and why we celebrated you last year. So I just wanted to start off with, can you kind of walk us through your transplant journey and what's got you here today, and kind of what that journey looked like for you?
Yeah, well, thanks so much. Yeah. So it's been a long journey. I was diagnosed with kidney failure when I was 25 years old back in 1982, and I received a kidney transplant from my younger brother, Derek, in 84 after being on dialysis for about a year. And that transplant really did well and lasted for 21 years. And back in 2005, I had a second kidney transplant, and that one has lasted more than 21 years. So I'm now 42 years post-transplant and doing well. I really feel like the whole kidney disease and transplant journey changed the trajectory of my life and headed me in the direction of wanting to serve other people. And I am currently a primary care physician and professor at Stanford, and really, you know, I feel very privileged to have the background that I have and to contributed to the lives of other people.
So how many years total for the two kidneys? 40? Like kind
Oh,
of
just a little more than 42 at this point.
that's incredible. That's amazing. I always love hearing the longevity of kidney transplants or all the transplants, but I think kidney used to have a longer longevity than some of the others maybe. That's amazing. And so you kind of touched on it, but since you've had your transplant, you've really delved into this world of transplant and have helped others through the process and with research. So can you kind of talk about that a little bit? I know you're super involved with world transplant athletes and work and a bunch of other things. So give us the rundown on that.
Yeah, I have many interests, and certainly being involved in the transplant community is one of those. I think that my own research focuses on how people can be more involved in their own healthcare, how they can contribute to their well-being by kind of being an active part of their healthcare journey. And that remains a really important kind of concept for me that really started as I was getting my transplant and learning about kidney disease and the transplant process. So I very firmly believe that our healthcare system really should be asking people for their opinions and for their work in determining what kind of experience they have in healthcare. I think far too often there's a certain paternalism in healthcare of the doctors kind of feeling like they know best for patients. And I think while that helps some of the time, most of the time, I think it leads to outcomes that aren't necessarily the best ones for patients. So again, part of my message that I carry into my work, both in my research work and in the transplant community, is really to get patients involved in their own care, to learn about their conditions, and really see their doctor as a resource that helps them, not necessarily, the manager of their healthcare lives.
Who knows your body better than you know your body? I mean,
Exactly.
the number of patients I've heard who said, I knew something was wrong before the doctors, who've had their transplant and were experiencing rejection and things. And they're like, I knew something was wrong, but my doctor kept telling me my rejection numbers, were normal and they weren't there. And then a couple weeks later or a month later, I'm facing rejection. I've heard that a few times. So I think definitely key to.
And there really is so much that people can do to help themselves and regardless of whether they have conditions like kidney disease. So I'm a big advocate of exercise and physical activity. I think it's one of the most effective strategies we have for preventing and even treating many chronic diseases.
Definitely. And so you came out last summer for our 2026 CKF Awards. Can you kind of talk about that experience? I know we were just talking before we hit record about how you and Ahmed, one of our other award winners, have gone on to do some work together. So tell us all about your experience.
Yeah, I had a wonderful time visiting Aspen last summer. For me, it was a great experience, not only to be in that great environment, but to meet these people for the first time who really had amazing histories. I took a particular liking to Ahmed and his wife, who we hung out with quite a bit at during the festivities and before and after. And, I'm continuing to work with him. He is a budding gastroenterologist, very interested in liver transplant, in part because he himself is a liver transplant recipient. And also really had a great time hanging out with Patty and Ian, one of the other awardees. And it was just a great time also with the staff of CKF as well as hang out with Chris himself.
Having you. You're always welcome back. Anytime you want to come back.
Thank
One
you.
year I keep saying I really want to do like an awards all-star where we bring everybody who's won previously out.
That would be wonderful.
Right? I think it'd be so fun. I wouldn't get any work done though ahead of it. I'd be too excited. That's
Well, I
amazing.
especially appreciated all the work that went into organizing the event and having the award recipients there to talk about their experience. I think that that sort of event was very meaningful to me.
Yeah, it's my favorite one of the year. I'm always left in tears by the end of it. So amazing. Oh, now we have the really difficult job of announcing the 2026 Community Champion awardee, who I'm very excited to give Randy the opportunity to let us know who's our winner in 2026.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to think about this community champion and to announce that the winner for 2026 is a great surgeon by the name of Osama Gaber. And he's from Houston. And I think that you're all going to enjoy meeting him and getting to know him.
Thank you, Randy, and congratulations to Dr. Gaber. We're really excited to have you join us here in August for our Wine and Dine Gala. As I said previously when I was chatting with Ahmed and Addie, if you haven't got your tickets, you haven't got your tickets because they haven't gone on sale yet, but they are going on sale May 15th or August 28th, and we'd really love for you to join us out here in Aspen. As always, Randy, it was an amazing pleasure getting to speak with you and hear your story again. And thank you so much for everything that you've done for the transplant community. And we were honored to recognize you as our 2025 Community Champion.
Well, thanks so much, Anna. Great being with you and great to see you again.